Hi Peas! It's finally Friday. It's Candace Smith here and I've got a card for you today. We're going to start off with our blank canvas, which is our card base. It's just a cream cardstock that I've cut in half lengthwise so it folds up from the bottom. And it's a pretty simple card today. A lot of stamping, which I love to do. We're going to start off with our Hero Arts and Basic Gray stamp. This one is called Flower Tablecloth. You can see that's what it looks like. And it's just a giant stamp. I'll show it to you here. Just a really big stamp. It's going to cover the whole front of our card. And when you get these stamps, on the back there is this covering on the cling, the gray cling background. So you just take it off. And then I have a really large acrylic block that you stick it on. Something on it. Okay, and I wanted to do some really bright and fun colors. I was at the store the other day looking for some tennis shoes and found a bunch of really cute bright colored shoes lately. They're really fun. I really want to get me a pair. So I'm going to use this, I forgot to show you, these new pigment pads by Doodlebug and Color Box, and this one is just a teal, I think. Oh, it's called Swimming Pool. So it's like a teal color. We're going to use this for our big stamp today, and it takes a minute to stamp, to ink it up, so bear with me here while I do it. You could even do a softer image and do less ink if you wanted. I'm going to try to really saturate it so that we get a solid color. I'm sure that there will be spots that it's faded in because it's really hard to get it completely solid sometimes and perfect. Sorry, this takes a minute. I really wanted to do a gray background stamp with some neon colors just because that's totally in style right now. It's a really fun color combination, but I didn't have a great pigment pad, so I decided to just go with the fun bright colors instead. Do it that way. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much covered here. Like I said, I'm sure there's going to be a couple spots that aren't perfect. Let me grab a paper to stamp on top of. Okay, put this down in my card base, and now I'm just, oops, helps if I keep it in one place. I'm just gonna stamp it, and I don't know what easier way to do this. I just kind of line it up and hope that hope for the best. Press it down really good. These big stamps can be hard sometimes. I've heard of some people, it's not the way I like to do it, just because I think, I don't know, I feel like I'm going to mess it up, but if you don't even want to use the acrylic block, you can just take the stamp, ink it, and then put your card on top of it and use like a brayer and roll over it, and that will do the image more crisply. But I don't know why that just, for some reason that scares me more than doing this. Oh, see? It's not perfect. I think maybe we'll try the other side. Ink one more time. That's what happens when you do a video. Things don't turn out right the first time. And I think that also has a lot to do with the fact that I've never used the stamp before. And sometimes the first stamping of a new stamp is never perfect. So maybe this one will work better. It's definitely easier to ink it up the second time. Okay, let's try this again. Put a lot of pressure on it. I think the middle is the hardest part of it. Probably rocking the camera too. Oh, we have a better image there. I think we're going to go with this one, and I'll show you another little trick that I do when I mess up. So put our ink pad away. So because I didn't get it perfect on this side, I'm actually just going to cut it down a little bit, just to cut that side off, and nobody will know any better. It'll be a little bit smaller, might even fit into my envelope a little better. So we'll cut that down. Okay, so we have our card base. I think it's beautiful. I love those flowers. And you can see kind of where it's lightened up here, right in the middle. There's not as much ink on it. And so that's where we're going to do our embellishment today. And it's going to be a simple one. But I have another piece of the cream cardstock, the same one I used for the card base. Put my card base over to the side. And I'm going to do my embellishments. It's just a stamped embellishment. And I have these from Hampton Arts and Doodlebug Designs. These are really fun label stamps. And I liked this one right here. So I think we're going to try to use this one today. Again, it's my first time using this stamp, so see, it might take me a couple times to get it looking nice. Take them out. And I get out my acrylic block, smaller one this time. And I'm going to use a hot pink or like a magenta. This one is called Bubblegum from Colorbox and Doodlebug. Okay, let's try it. Again, like I said, I'm going to have to do this twice. Oops. See? Told you. Oh, perfect. I really, really love these Doodlebug stamps from Hampton Arts. They print so nicely. I just love the rubber that they're made of. It just goes on so nicely. And I have another set from Doodlebug as well, and Hampton Arts, and this one's just a sentiment set. And I'm going to use the one that says Just Because. Just going to try to sneak it out the side. It's not going to work. Okay. Use the same acrylic block. Take my label off. Okay, and this time I'm going to use a bright orange, and this one is called Tangerine. See that color? Choosing lots of bright colors today. Okay, stamp it right in the middle. Just because. Perfect. Okay, so we've got our sentiment stamped, and now we get to cut it out. And sometimes that's the hardest part for me. I like to leave a little edge, a little white edge all the way around it instead of cutting right on my stamped image. I think it looks a little more like it's been die cutted. I wish I had a die cut for this stamp. That would be even better. So you want it to look clean. It's not perfect. Nothing I ever do is perfect, so I guess that's just part of life. Almost done. Great. Okay, so we've got our image, our stamped label, and here's our card base again, and I'm just going to put it right here. But first I want to do a little bow around the card, and I have some seam binding that I've bought in, and I'm just going to take a length of it, cut it off, move our label over, and just right where I kind of want my label to go, I'm going to tie it. Trying to do this upside down here. There's many ways that I like to, I think I've talked about this before, do my bows. This is just kind of the tie it around the card method, but I also have a piece of cardboard that's the size of a card front, And sometimes I'll just tie it around that, and then once I get my bow the way I like it, and I snip off the tails and everything, then I can just go back and like snip it off here, and then you can tape it onto your card wherever you'd like. Sometimes that gives you a little more freedom to place your ribbon, and then if you mess up, you know, it's not on the card. Okay, so we've got our ribbon on there, and you can move it up and down wherever you want it. And I'm going to add my label. I want to kind of turn my bow here a little bit. It always turns when you don't want it to, and doesn't turn when you want it to. Okay, so we're just going to do this. And I have some foam adhesive. If I can find it. Where did I put it? Piece. Right there. And now I have some more Doodle Bug buttons. These are boutique buttons in tangerine, and I'm going to use just one of these little flowers to put in the center of my bow. And of course, I always have to add a little bit of jute to fancy up my button. And to adhere it, you can use hot glue, which I usually do, but today I'm going to use a glue dot. It works well too. Put it right there in the middle of my button. Put it right there in the middle of my bow. And then just the last thing, it's kind of a simple card today. We're just going to round the corners of our card. The bottom corners. You want to make sure you get your other ones. If you have a really heavy duty corner rounder, you could do both layers at a time. Okay, and here is our card for today. If you're worried about your ribbon sliding down or your label sliding down, you could put some more adhesive underneath it or glue to hold it down. But that's the card we have. I'll move my paper out from underneath so you can see it a little better. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you had fun and maybe learned a couple new things, some new techniques. Hope you have a great Friday. Thanks. Bye.